What the heck? Why'd that fall over? What is up, everyone? I'm going to make this big for just a second. Whoops. Alright, what is up, everyone? So, yeah, I'm going to be reviewing the market for today in this stream. Should be pretty chill. I do plan on doing a stream tomorrow from around, sometime Saturday morning, probably late morning to afternoon. And I'll just be reviewing the whole week in that stream. But today, in this stream, I'm going to be reviewing price action for today. Friday, August 1st. And yes, I know, guys, I was not on the charts today, this morning. Unfortunately, I had a slip up. And it's my goal from now on to make sure that never happens again, right? We're going to keep trying to make sure and I can't speak. We're going to keep trying to get better. We're never going to be perfect. But every single day we keep going, right? We keep trying. And yeah, I missed the day. I missed live streaming this morning. But it is what it is, right? I'm going to show up again next week, and hopefully I can never miss another stream or be late to a stream again. That would be ideal. But anyway, we're just going to be reviewing price action today, like every little detail, because that's how we do it here. Yeah, I actually think today was really interesting. So, one of my favorite parts about today is, 8:30 happens right here. So here's where we have the data wick, right? So 8:30 closes here. Look at this, by the way. Your optimal entry point is always going to be right above 8:30. Remember that, guys. So I'm going to actually write that. I'm going to make a note of this. What about midnight? Where's midnight? Oh. This is 9:30. Now I'm confused. Nah, see, open, oh, I'm kind of dumb. 8:30 opens here, and closes here. Okay, never mind, guys. I thought I was genius for a second, but nah, 8:30 is actually right here, which means it actually doesn't mean as much as I thought it did. So, anyway. Let's get rid of that. But I do think that this was an optimal entry point, which is really interesting, right? So anyway, 8:30, we were above 8:30. And we get S&T. Where's 8:30? And you know what I think is really interesting today is if you take the 4-hour stat map, right? We hit that statistical manipulation level perfectly. And it's interesting because it's saying statistically the manipulation doesn't even happen until right here. And that's exactly when it happened. That's very interesting, right? So this is, it also tells you when the manipulation should happen. And see, it says statistically, manipulation should happen around this time. And that's exactly when it happens as well. So 4-hour and minus. And once again, we were expecting it to happen right here. And then 4-hour D minus all the way down here. And we were expecting this one to happen right here. So very, very you know, precise, right? Look at that, man. That's really cool. So yeah, right from 4-hour manipulation to distribution with SMT. That's why StatMap can be really, really helpful. You know what? I actually kind of want to look at the 4-hour chart. Let's switch screens. Over here. Oops. So this was the 6 a.m. candle. Opened and then closed. So you can see that one is... Yeah, 10 a.m. closes all the way down here. Wow. So this is the candle we're looking at. So because we were in free fall, with, you know, good drawn liquidity below, I can't really see it. I guess this is probably the first drawn liquidity, this new day opening gap here. So 4-hour in free fall with good liquidity below, we could realistically expect the 6 a.m. candle to have open, high, low, close. Right? So we're basically saying we're anticipating this candle right here to probably go open, high, and then low, close. Based on chart, we could anticipate 6 a.m. open, high, low, close. Okay. And dropping down time frame, right? So here's where that 6 a.m. candle opens up. So at this point, we're anticipating open, high, low, close. So 5:45 candle closes here. This one opens here. Okay. So here's the open. 6 a.m. candle open. 10 a.m. 1 hour had CISD or breaker structure. Oh, interesting. Let's see. $10 a.m. 1 hour. Wait, I don't know what you're talking about specifically. But what I'm looking at right now is, let me just delete everything first so I can show you what I'm talking about. Right? We're obviously drawing towards this accumulation range. So we know this is, you know, obviously going to be a good draw on liquidity. We're in free fall, right? So I can measure this range out. You know, we could realistically figure out that this is the draw on liquidity, right? Within here. So what I'm saying is, okay, once we figure that out, like the market's drawing lower and the market's in a free fall, we're basically saying when the 6 a.m. candle opens up, we should be able to anticipate that it's going to probably have open, high, low, close. We can anticipate that because we're, falling lower. So what I'm saying is, sorry, 4 hours, 10 a.m. 4 hour. Yup. I noticed that as well. That's actually why I ended up taking that trade. That I don't know if I showed you it, dude. I gotta show you my trade. I took a trade last night. It's part of why I didn't show up this morning. But the main reason I didn't show up this morning is because I messed up. I should have shown up, but I ended up taking a trade last night, and it was awesome, dude. It was one of the best trades I've taken in a long time, and I can show you that in just a second. But I did notice that from last night. So going into London session last night, I noticed that we had this 4 hour change state delivery, and because of that, I was like, wow, it's really obvious we're gonna go run down to. It's really obvious we're gonna go run down to this consolidation because we got this change state delivery, like with this giant sweep and SMT. I think there was SMT with YM. I can't remember, but I think there was, right? Let me check. I'm looking at my other screen, right? Yeah, there was SMT with YM with this high. So with that in mind, right, we get this change state delivery. It's like all of a sudden we're back testing it and then we're displacing lower. My eyes go, okay, what liquidity pool? We have a very obvious drawn liquidity here, right? This is obviously, low resistance lows right here. So this is a really, really nice high time frame drawn liquidity, right? Once we got the change state delivery, I'm looking for a trade within this segment of price right here. I'm looking for a lower time frame trade within this segment of price. That's essentially what I was doing. So I actually did take this trade. I took it last night during London. So I'm gonna actually make a note of that. Once we got this 4 hour CISD with SMT, it became obvious that we were drawing to the LRLR below, right? I'm talking about these, low resistance lows all through here in consolidation. And so within this segment of price, I'm looking for a lower time frame trade. That's essentially what I was doing. So and then once again, this is the LRLR, right? So that was my thought process, right? We also got a break of structure here, and that was the other thing, right? Very obvious break of this low, so double confluence, right? And also, inverse of this fair value gap too. I mean, whole bunch of, obvious confluences added together. I'm not even gonna mark that out, but yeah, you get the idea. So I'm gonna screenshot this. So then the trade I actually took, like I legitimately took this trade, was, what is this? Yeah, 4 hour CASD towards LRLR gave bias. Was, well, I dropped down time frame, right? Or maybe 2 time frames. And I don't know why it's not obvious here, but there's a new day opening gap, right? Well, it's not letting me. Gotta copy over all my indicators. Hang on. It's just gonna take 1 second. All right, there we go. So we had this new day opening gap here, right? And I saw how we were rejecting it. And I was like, dang, that is very bearish. That is very bearish. Usually when I see this happen, the market just keeps going very aggressively. So this is from experience. I've seen this happen so many times where we reject a new day opening gap towards a draw on liquidity. That's the market saying, yeah, it's time for the gulag, dude. So I saw this and I'm like, okay, how can I get in on a trade? Well, pop down to the 1 hour, right? Once again, you can see, we have low resistance lows all through here, all through here. All of this was low resistance, and it was just very obvious to me the market was ready to go run liquidity. And so we end up getting this 1 hour change of state of delivery, and the RR just made so much sense to me, right? I knew it was London session, but I was like, you know what? The RR is really good. You can go break even. I'm going to take this 1 hour change of state delivery because we're delivering from a new day opening gap with really good liquidity below. So all I did was I entered on the close here. I entered on the close. When I enter on the close, I put stop loss. It doesn't even have to go all the way at the high, right? And then measured out standard deviations, right? And I just went TP1. I did TP1 at second standard deviation. And I kind of messed it up a little bit. So I accidentally got stopped out in here. So second standard deviation got hit, third standard deviation got hit. It should have hit the fourth, but I messed it up. But yeah, in general, this was really, really nice. And then I went break even at the first standard deviation, I believe. So genuinely a beautiful trade here. And then bottom left, 4 hour break of structure. Let me delete this. Okay. And TP2. And then I should have, what happened was I trailed the stop a little too aggressively and I got stopped out, but I shouldn't have trailed it as aggressively as I did, but whatever, it was an accident. So yeah, TP3, TP2. Genuinely, this was really nice. And then, bang. So yeah, I actually took this. Pretty sick, huh? Whoops. And we just had really good liquidity below, so. I mean, genuinely, the market's so perfect. Look how perfectly we hit that. Wow, man. Just wow. We continue down to the 8th perfectly. I was considering leaving a runner for the 8th, I was genuinely considering it, but I was just like, that can be something I do in the future. I just don't want to right now. Because also, like, I knew that we were gonna, once we hit these third and fourth standard deviations, we were gonna get a retrace. Yeah, this was the trade I took. Clean. Oh, but I was looking at the lower time frame on the actual day, right? One hour CISD close. Wait, 2 o'clock CISD close. 1 hour. Bang. That is just a nice trade, man. So cool. And so, anyway, like I was saying, right? 6 a.m. candle. Dropping down here. $6 a.m. candle. So this means that this opened at 5 and closed at 6, right? Yeah, this opens at 6. Okay. So, like I was saying, right, here's that 6 a.m. candle, right? We're anticipating open, high, low, close on the 6 a.m. candle. So I'm going to switch my screen back. So that's essentially what I was looking at, was anticipating, well, I guess I'll switch it to the main screen. Whoops. Cancel. Nope. 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 That's not it. How? Dang it, I accidentally switched the display. Okay, there we go. So once again, 6 a.m. candle opens up here. $6 a.m. Six o'clock. Open. So, you know what's interesting? A lot of people do is, if people are anticipating an open, high, low, close, a lot of people, they will literally just pull up StatMap and they'll just put a limit order at the statistical manipulation level. I mean, and look at that. It's like 5R and they didn't even have to do anything. Right? It's kind of cool. M minus 4 hour, M minus 4 hour, D minus. And this is exactly what I'm saying. Like, if you can just understand what's the likely, you know, type of candle we're going to get, well, then you can take a really high probability trade. So, you know, it's kind of cool. I don't even know what to call this, like a StatMap's full port send. StatMap blind entry. Open, high, low, close. So, okay. Dropping down a time frame, right? we did hit this 4-hour manipulation level. So once again, we were anticipating manipulation to the upside. And we end up getting SMT with this high here. So, and then we were above 830 as well. 830 candle opens up here. So 830. Well, I guess I kind of want to. So once again, anticipating open high, low, close. So you can clearly see this is accumulation. Accumulation. Manipulation above these time levels. I'm curious if this was, you know, some kind of special key level or not. There was a event horizon on the new week opening, but I don't know how much credibility that has. Let's bring it up 1 or 2. Right? Up 2 more maybe. So once again, like, this is why the dealing ranges can be helpful, because look at how perfectly we run within them, right? You know, we sweep liquidity outside the dealing range. Break of structure. And what do you know, right? What do you know? That's okay, that's crazy. Break of structure. And what is this? Fair value gap partition between 0.83 and 0.89. So once again, we sweep liquidity outside the dealing range. We get a break of structure, and we have a fair value gap. Wow, man. Wow. That's genuinely so cool. I've seen it so many times now, it's just becoming second nature almost, you know? Break of structure, and then we have, you know, our 2022 gap right here within our 2022 partition. That's so sick, right? So this is where we can anticipate the fair value gap to be. And dropping down, right? And then where's the dealing range low, right? Dealing range low is right here. We actually don't hit it right away. but we do end up hitting it. What is this? 81. $81 high and then 81 low. So cool. So then you can take your trade like this, like basically 2022 model, right? But you have extra confluence because you're within inside the dealing range, is what I'm trying to say. Right? We manipulate these time levels. So you have that as a confluence as well. And then for value partition, and then from the high, the dealing range, down to the low. So let's say you took it with your stop above the fair value gap. Yeah, that's a nice 4R right there, right? If you kept it going, uh, 2022 model. Save this. $8.53, 2022, 1 minute, and then put in parentheses Enigma, and then we'll do another version of it where, let's say you wanted to hold the rest of it to the 4-hour distribution level, then that would be an 8-to-1, right? And if you took standard deviations here, 1, 2, 3, you could even hold it to the 4th standard deviation, right? So to the 4-hour distribution level, right? This is a 8:53, 2022, 1 minute Enigma number 2. And then, let's say you did hold, let's say you took a version where you did hold it to that 4th standard deviation. Well, that would get you 19 RR. That's crazy. That's actually so cool. So once again, 8:53, 2022 model, 1 minute Enigma number 3. So sick. Okay, So let's get rid of that. Once again, just, but you don't even need to have all that, dealing range stuff, right? That's just extra confluence. But at the heart of the matter, the simple way to view this is just liquidity sweep. Like you can be very, very basic thinker here, right? Liquidity sweep of data highs. You don't need all the extra stuff. It's just the extra stuff is just bonus, right? But you don't need it. Liquidity sweep of data highs. And then break of this low. And then we're not quite in discount of this, right? But I think you would want to mark it out at this one anyway, right? And then you can see we do hit premium of this, or equilibrium, or whatever you want to call it, right? Maybe, measure this out. Also equilibrium marked out there. Typically I like to do of the displacement leg, but yeah. And yeah, the rest is history, right? So once again, you don't need all the extra confluences. You can just literally just do, okay, where's the sweep? Where's the break of structure? Where's the fair value gap? Been sleeping on the 2022 model, guys. What can I say? It's goated. Okay, one more screenshot of this, right? 8:53 2022 model, 1 minute. And then yeah, it's just your regular 2022 model. Okay. So let's say you didn't get that entry. Right? How else could you take a trade? Well, you could also always take this as a flow state, right? Where 15-minute. Let's see here. What makes sense? Would you guys use this 15-minute order block? Maybe makes more sense to use it as a 5-minute order block, to be honest. I would use this 5-minute order block. I wonder if we have S&T with that order block. I always like the order blocks that are right before the move down, right? So this one seems nice. But we do sweep it out. I don't know if that matters. I don't think it does, to be honest. I would use this 5-minute order block. I think this is a nice OB here, because it's right before the move lower. So whoops. So we have this nice 5-minute OB here. Why is this a nice OB? Well, this is the OB that comes right before the aggressive move lower. Right. So once again, I don't really care that we sweep it, to be honest. I honestly don't care about that. I don't care if we sweep our PD arrays. At least for me, to be honest, I don't care. Maybe other people care. I don't. Why is this a nice OB for flow state? Because it is the one that comes right before the big move lower. OB, nice because it comes right before the big move lowers. So the same is true with breakers, guys. Like, the best ones are going to be right before whatever, you know, the big giant, whenever the big giant dump was, right? OB nice because it comes right before the big move lower. So yeah, there you go. You can see that screenshot. So then I'm curious if we got a 30-second change state delivery off of that. We do end up getting 30-second change state delivery. It's not till a little later. Oh man, guys, I have to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Wait, hang on a second. Dang, guys, there were 7 of you watching. That's, you guys are quiet. You guys are so stinking quiet. It's kind of funny though. Is there actually still 7 of you watching? You guys just leave it on in the background just to give me watch time? Because if so, I mean, you guys are so nice for that if so, but you really don't need to do that. Oh man, but all right. Anyway, 7 of you guys watching. That's cool. Let's keep going. So, yeah, you guys are really quiet. Like I was saying, right? We had that 5-minute order block that I liked. For me, this isn't convincing of a change state delivery. I would not use that. We do get change state delivery here. These are not my favorite kinds of change state. I probably would not take it. I would not take this as a flow state. There's just nothing in here that makes sense from an RR point of view, because I don't take it when it looks like this. Nice, man. Nice, Alex. It's like, once again, if entry was like, you know, right here, then, you know, this makes way more sense, because then the RR is really good. But because we don't get it till like here, I'm not taking this trade personally. It's just not worth it from RR point of view. But you know, it was something I was looking at, because you know, it's always important to map it out, see if you can get it, and then if you don't, then you don't need to take it. Another way you could have taken this, right, is simple inverse for value gap. Actually, this is probably the easiest way, the most no-brainer way, right? I mean, this is literally as clean of an inverse for value gap as it gets, to be honest, right? 3-minute inverses. Yeah, there we go. 3-minute. Very, very clean inverse for value gap, guys. This is the type of inverse for value gap that, you know, my grandma could take, right? Because we get SMT, we sweep out the data highs and equal high, and then we get a 3-minute inverse for value gap with SMT. With obvious accumulation, manipulation, and then possible distribution. At the 4-hour statistical manipulation level, once again, we were anticipating 6 a.m. to have an open, high, low close. I mean, this has got to be like this is a stupidly high conviction trade. This is 100% the trade of the day. I mean, I wasn't trading, but I feel like hopefully if I was trading, I would have taken this inverse for value gap. There's a decent chance that I might not have taken it right away, but then once we got a pullback, I'd be like, okay, and then I would have entered on the Jan entry. But let's just say you just took it as a normal entry, right? And the reason I'd have so much conviction in this is because we have the SMT, we swept out equal highs and data highs, and personally, I'd probably put stop loss there. Yeah. And so, actually, being realistic, right? I think I would have waited. I would have waited a little bit to enter on a little bit of a retrace to get better RR. But let's just say you just took it like normal, right? Because, you know, a lot of people probably just took it normally. I probably would have waited for a retrace. But let's say you took it normally. Well, you can target the first and then second standard deviations. Wow, you really barely get filled on those. I mean, this one I don't even know if you would, but yeah, that's a clean RR right there. It goes to show, guys, even if you mess up so much of the time, if you can just take one good trade, it's going to cover up all those losses. And that's kind of how I was yesterday, to be honest. Because I had a really good trade, that really good trade I showed earlier, like on this stream, actually, I showed it. And yeah, it's covered a lot of my losses recently, actually. I'm really, really happy about it. It just goes to show, like, that's why you keep showing up. Like, yeah, I took some losses, but the beautiful part about trading is trading, by default, trading means you literally got to take losses because otherwise, you know, you'd be knowing the future, right? Part of trading is taking losses, and understanding that is just going to be reality. But yeah, like, genuinely really, really nice trade here. And, you know, if you're really greedy, of course you could always run it down to that fourth standard deviation, and, you know, that would have hit, right? That would have hit. That's the cool part about it. That's the beauty of entering on a simple inverse value gap, is sometimes simple inverse value gaps are all you need, and you can get crazy trades. Because once again, why was this a possible target for us? Why were we even looking at that? Well, all these low resistance lows at the bottom of this consolidation. This is going to be a really, really high. There's going to be a lot of stop losses here. So this was a very strong target for us. So going back, once again though, I'm just going to be realistic about how I would take this, right? Because I'm not trying to, you know, I want to be able to outline my trades exactly as I would take them, and I'll probably I'll make another screenshot of it where, like, you know, the bonus version where I make the what if I did hold it scenario, right? But realistically, I'm trying to think, because normally I like to target consolidations, but we don't really have that down here. I'd probably just say you could just target this. I know it's not the best RR, but yeah. that's a pretty safe bet, right? So if you just wanted to play the safe bet, targeting that would make a lot of sense. Only 1.9, but you know what? That's enough to, pay the bills. Now, like I was saying, right, I would have taken the Jan entry, meaning I would have entered on a little bit of a retrace, personally, and I'm going to show you exactly how I would do that. So, let's see, this is this is on the 2-minute chart. Let's switch to the 3-minute chart. There we go. Okay. 3-minute. 3-minute IPG. What time? 8:45. So also going into the macro, right? The 9 a.m. macro. Now, I guess this is pre-market. That is something that we should be looking at, because realistically, right, I get on the charts at 8:30. I'm not going to have all this figured out probably by 8:45. So realistically, I would not have taken this, but I'm just going to, write it down anyways, because it's important. No matter whether you would take it or not, it's important to notice these signatures in general for the future. 3-minute IPG, 8:45, IPG, 3-minute. Okay, and we'll show off another version. I don't use volume profile candles much, but oh, I didn't even see your comments, no man. I also recovered 400 loss and made 150. Could have been more, but I was trying to play it safe. Yeah, man, that's exactly how we got to do it. That was me too, right? Like I just, I covered, like I made back a lot of what I lost in the past week in my trade yesterday. I don't use volume candles much, but go to that order block on left. You can see iceberg orders in there that it may be swept. Oh, there probably was. Do you want me to pull a volume profile on this? Is that what you're saying? Oh, yeah. Looks like we went to the top of that, yeah. Interesting. That actually makes a lot of sense. Oh, and yeah, guys, while I'm doing this, definitely have your own charts pulled up and looking at the same exact thing I am, because why not, right? Like, anything you notice, you can, put it in the chat, right? 9/11. That's so interesting. 9/11. Oh, yeah, I bet I could see the order book orders. I don't want to have to set that up right now. So, but I believe you. So yeah, like I was saying, I'd probably take this as a Jan entry, meaning you can look. That's awesome. I'll take a mental note of it. I don't know if I'm gonna be thinking about that for the future though, for sure. How long you been trading? Actually, today is my 2-year. Today is exactly 2 years since I first started trading. Crazy, man. So anyway, you could take this as a Jan entry, right? Where, like for me, I'd probably do this, right? Because we get this inversion, but it's not super obvious to me that the market's instantly going to go around liquidity. So my mind instantly goes, if it's not going to go around liquidity instantaneously, I'm going to be conservative and not take it unless there's a little bit of a retrace. And then we get that retrace. And so I would have entered on this. This is a little bit of a retrace, personally. That's just that's just what I would have done. How's your trading going? It's decent, bro. I've gotten funded. I'm funded 450,000 right now, so 9 accounts, and I've gotten payouts 3,600 total, but I'm still in the improvement phase, right? I also have done stupid trades, and I keep learning from losses though. We keep going, one day at a time, man. 2 years for 2 years, I think I'm doing pretty okay. Obviously, I'm a human. I make mistakes all the time, but I'm just trying my best. But yeah, screenshotting that. So you could just showing how you could take this as a Jan entry, right? And then as well, we could show another version of this where, so 848 IFG, I call these IFG-J in my journal, and then 3 minute. And then once again, if you wanted to hold it for, for fun, let's say you just wanted to hold it for fun down further. And obviously in real life, I'm scaling all through here, right? If I was holding it for further, I'm taking TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4. You get what I'm saying? It's never all or nothing. But I don't want to have to set all that up because it's going to take too much time. I'd probably, the most realistic thing for me to do if I was to hold it, like let's say I held one runner or something, the most realistic thing I would do is I would target the 4-hour statistical distribution level. That's what I would do. And yeah, this is probably as far as I would have done. So 6-1 would have been insane. Yeah, man, just one day at a time, We keep getting better. Trading's really hard. It's literally probably the hardest thing in the world. So we can't be too hard on ourselves. We just got to keep going. But every day I get a little better. I really do. So yeah. Oh, I was going to show off that was the statistical distribution level. So you see why I like this? Why I would target this? Because we went to the 4-hour statistical manipulation level. So it just makes common sense to me that if we hit the statistical manipulation level, statistically, most of the time we're going to hit the statistical distribution level, right? It just makes sense. So many setups. I was wondering what setup would you say your win rate is the highest or works the best for you? It's because I don't trade a specific setup. I trade conceptually. I trade understanding of liquidity, right? Because at the end of the day, that is what you're trading. You're trading stop loss orders. You're targeting stop loss orders. So as far as I'm concerned, the entry means nothing. Like the entry is the least important part of it, right? The entry is just the tool. The liquidity is the target. The liquidity is what you're trading. So that's why. So yeah, I trade. The way I enter is either inverse fair value gap, change state delivery, 2022 fair value gap, or a flow state. Wait, you can't trade what's not showing up. Wait, I don't know what you just said, Alex. I'm confused. No, I'm just screenshotting this, right? If confluences shows up, then it's there, and you work it from there. Exactly. It's the hardest part of trading, for sure. $848 IPG-J, 3 minute, and then yeah, this would be targeting the statistical distribution. I'm just talking. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, you're talking to him. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, let's just do one more scenario of, let's say you were a degen and you measured out that 1 minute change state delivery and you're like, okay, well, let's just see what would happen if I did hold it to that fourth towards that LRLR. Well, that would be 14-1, right? I'm not advising anyone do that, but it's just cool to know what could be possible when you get really good, right? So very clean, right? This is really, really clean accumulation, manipulation, distribution. If you wanted to get in on essentially the move for the entire session, this is exactly how you would do it, in my opinion. This is the best way to do it, in my opinion. It just makes sense, dude. I'm still new to ICT and trading, but I notice you have to be really patient. If you dial, you get these good trades and you're done for the day. Exactly, man. Exactly. That is so true. Like, but the other thing is, like, even if you do take a bad trade, even if you take a loss, like, understand it's not the end of the world. Like, so much of the time I'll beat myself up for losses, but you have to realize losses are part of the journey, and it wouldn't be trading if there weren't losses, right? Because it's not, you know, the reality is you're going to take losses, so it's just a matter of just, understand that you're going to be able to make that loss back. As long as you keep consistent and trying to take the best setups you can, you're going to make that loss back. I mean, obviously easier said than done, but... Okay, this is the final version of this possible trade, right? So ideally, if I was taking this trade, why did I write 948? I meant 848. Great, I need to rename that. I play with my real account, no prop firms, so pressure's rough. Oh my gosh, dude, that's too scary for me. That's too scary for me. If I ever do a personal account, I think what I'm going to do is I'm only going to take, like, I don't know, like stupid high RR trades just for fun. Because, there's no rules against it. And I know that I can hit them. I've seen the, like, crazy Reaper for value gaps that I. So I don't know. I've always thought about doing that. Okay, let me... I gotta rename this. Accidentally named it as 948. Okay, 848. This is just me and my other screen. Oh, it already exists. Hang on. I would start feeding your prop firm winnings to a real account. Yeah, bro. I'm definitely gonna do that. 100%. 100%. It's just a matter of when. But... definitely coming. It's coming soon. Okay, so that was the expansion for the day, right? Pretty clearly, you guys can see how. Let's get rid of all the extra noise, right? If we just look at the chart, simple. Let's break it down to be super, super simple, right? This is all it is. This is all it is. Let's get rid of everything else. This is breaking it down into its simplest form. We accumulate, we manipulate, we get on-sided with distribution. And if you can conceptualize that, you're ahead of 99% of traders. Because 99% of traders don't understand that this is how the market moves. If you can literally just do this, if you can just conceptualize where are the stop losses, where are they going to get manipulated, and then how can I get on-side with the distribution, then you're ahead of everyone else. And you're switching to gold now? That's crazy. I just got 22R with gold? With real money? Are you serious? If so, that's crazy. This was so clean. So clean. Down to our higher time frame target. So, yeah, this is as simple as it gets, right? I got rid of all the extra stuff on the chart. You can see this is just accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Detect the manipulation, get on-side with distribution. Detect manipulation, get on-side with distribution. And that is all you're doing. You're joking? Dude, I never know, Haney. I never know nowadays because you keep saying, like, something new, which is just always blowing my mind. I never know these days. You're funny, man. It's easy once you are ahead a day. Wait, what do you mean? I'm confused. I'm trying to figure out how a good timing in Asian market. You gotta, anytime you're trading lower time, like if I'm trading an accumulation range, right? You need to drop down to be micro-scalping, right? If you try and trade medium or high time frames within an accumulation range, you're just gonna get stopped out over and over again. But if you trade like micro time frames, like the 15-second, then you're actually going to get some real moves. So that's how you do it. You have to, if you're going to trade in an accumulation range, whether that's Asia or just, any consolidation, right? You have to drop down to micro-scalping. That's the way I see it, personally. Like, I could prove a point right now, probably. Let me prove a point. This is actually a really good point proven. This is actually now that I'm mentioning it, I don't even know why we didn't start with this. The first presented for value gap right here. Right? You see this first presented for value gap? So this is the first presented for value gap because, well, 930. Oh, it's because we were looking at that. Okay, so this is later on. First presented for value gap. This is the first presented for value gap because it's at, well, here's 930, 931. You can see there's no fair value gaps at all until here. Now all of a sudden, that's our first presented for value gap, right? So crazy. And you can see, like, what is this? This is an obvious displacement leg. So when you measure out premium and discount, just use the most obvious displacement leg. That's always going to be the best. And check that out, right? We go right to premium, right in that first presented for value gap. So the market respects this. Now, something that I found really interesting, I already tweeted about this, and guys, keep this very much on the low because I think this is actually insane sauce. But I'm going to show you guys something crazy, right? So I'll screenshot this, right? So if, like I was trying to explain in my other video and I didn't do a really good job of it, but, if you want to micro-scalp, you can align just a regular random 1 minute fair value gap you know is high probability to hold, like for instance, this 1 minute first presented fair value gap in premium, and you can align that with the 5 second. And I know that sounds crazy, but just bear with me, right? Check this out. So 1 minute, I probably wouldn't take this, but I'm just trying to prove a point. Yeah, that's the hard part, is like trying to, find time. So like, honestly, like, you just either have to find a job that works with your schedule or trade like weird hours, I guess. I don't know. That is always hard though, But yeah, oh yeah, Asia. Yeah, if I was trading Asia, I would micro scalp. Like, go on the super low time frame and take lower time frame trades. So for instance, 1 minute for value gap in premium, I can still get a trade. And sometimes I know, other people might say that's not true, right? They might say, he doesn't know what he's talking about, but I really actually do, right? I really do. You can actually sometimes get better trades on micro scalps than a regular trade. And I'm being so serious. Like, because it's just like, I'm just going to prove my point right now, right? So here, I want to see if there was SMT first. I'm curious. So this was at 10:35. I need to prove my point here. Kind of sucks because I have a career and make $200K a year. Are you asking if I'm a scalper now? No, I'm not. I'm just saying you could scalp, right? You have a career. Oh yeah, that is hard, man. Because, it's just so much harder to make it in trading if you already have such a good job. I don't know. It's definitely like, you're able to chill more. I don't know. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but okay. I'm trying to figure out where this is here. Okay, I'm trying to look for SMT. That's what I'm doing on my other screen. Here, I'll switch my screen. So, dang, man, yeah. you're a workaholic doing that and trying to make trading work. It's impressive. Mad respect. Mad respect, man. Okay. Where is it? Here. Okay. Lower time frame. Mad respect, bro. That's not easy. So, I'm not seeing SMT. Yeah, that's a good job, man. Stay in that job. And, just keep piling, extra money with trading. If, obviously easier said than done, but just don't lose your money. That's all I'll say. It's really easy to lose your money in trading. Don't lose your money. Okay, SMT with YM with this high, but I don't know. I wouldn't probably use that as a confluence, right? Yeah, makes sense. Okay, back to the other chart here. I don't know why I have so many tabs. It makes it impossible for me to figure out which one. Okay. So, now obviously I want this to be an obvious change state delivery, but this is just to prove a point, right? I know this might not be the most obvious change state of delivery in the world, but my point is, right, we come up into the very top of this fair value gap, right? I'm not saying I would take this. But I just want to prove a point, right? Sweep out these highs. 5-second change state of delivery. And notice how we actually retest this way later on as well. And I like to have the wick drawn out as well, because I sometimes will use the wick of the change state of delivery as an entry. And then stop loss would be at this high. And just observe the market, right? So first one for lag gap, 5-second change state delivery. And drop standard deviations. I mean, this objectively is kind of providing better opportunity than a regular trade would, right? This is crazy. 8R. I know, other people will be like, that's just not realistic. But I don't know, man. It's just to prove a point. Like, it's not realistic until you do it. And then, maybe you do this on like a just for fun account. And then all of a sudden, wow, Jake Trades it just took a 8R trade micro-scalping, right? With, entry there, stop loss here, targeting 8R. And you know what else? Is, I'm going to screenshot this. You taught Dodgy how to play guitar? For real? Yeah, man. Always goals pay off debt, man. That's me too, kind of. I only just have a little bit of credit card debt, but, but yeah. Genuinely, it's just so cool. And, like, the precision is just absurd, right? So, what is this? 1035. Flow state retest. 1 minute, 5 second. I was just trying to prove a point, though, Oh, the other thing I was going to say, right? I can never tell with you, Haney. I can never tell. The other thing I was going to say, right? Flow state, Jake trades at OTE. Flow state OTE. Would you look at that? Perfectly hit, right? Can't argue with that precision. OTE of the flow state model hit. And then we run down to the 8th standard deviation. Precision, guys. Precision. Cannot argue with that. You're in a joking mood tonight. Guys, should I call this flow state OTE or Jake trades it OTE? I don't know. I feel like, flow state OTE, it's more fitting, but I don't know. I just kind of want people to be like, wait, you made that? Because I think that'd just be so cool. From that very first IPG at the very bottom back into, and it worked pretty good, 30 micros scaled out. Made some good money. Dang, man. It's impressive. And I think another thing people are sleeping on, guys, is that, when you have a pretty tight stop loss, a lot of the time it ends up going to, instead of 4, it goes to 8. Don't ask me why. It's just an observation I've noticed in the market. But like, let's say it's a really tight breaker with a tight stop loss. That's a lot of time it's going to go perfectly to the 8th. I don't know why, but it just does. It's just an observation. So I'm going to mark this down as Flow State OTE Classic. But it's not the Classic version, though. It's kind of the opposite of Classic, right? It's like, it's the newer, evolved version of OTE. I'm just going to call it Flow State OTE. 10:35 Flow State OTE, 1 minute, 5 second. Okay, enough with that, right? But also, just trying to prove a point. Okay, I was gonna say maybe you could hold it for further, but clearly not. Okay. So, yeah, that's the power of micro-scalping. Obviously, it's not always that easy, but so this was interesting. This is when news came out. Actually, I'm kind of done with this. I want to look at actual. I want to look at the market after 9:30 because that's realistically when I would be looking for my trade. OTD Classic. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, let's take a. We already looked at this pretty in depth. Let's take a look at the market after 9:30. So here's 9:30. We already looked at that first presented for value gap. There was this. This is maybe this could work as an inversion. I might need to check the higher time frame and see. Where's 9:30? Okay. Let's see. Oh, I kind of want to see if there's any new day opening gaps, new week opening gaps. I'm just kind of looking through all my stuff just to see if there's anything else that we missed. Because it's always, beneficial. Let's look at session stat map. Oh, that's crazy. Session stat map also went to the statistical manipulation level and then the statistical distribution level. So both stat maps were like at the exact same statistical manipulation level. That's crazy. You guys see what I'm saying? So this is our 4-hour candle. Statistically on a 4-hour candle, it'll manipulate to here and distribute to here. This is for New York session. Statistically on New York session, it'll manipulate to here and distribute to here. That's actually crazy, right? You see how precise that is? That's why I love StatMap, right? It tells you it could be a really nice confluence. Okay, I gotta read all that. Hang on. I might be doomed just to have to play Bitcoin and really get ripped. Are you still holding Bitcoin? Man, yeah, we're in a giant bull market, man. Hanny says, waited till him, then he answered. Did you see TGR made 77K today and 135K this week? Oh, I actually did realize he's been making money lately, but I didn't realize that much. That's crazy. I saw Johnny made a ton, which is also insane. I kind of want to look like what draws on liquidity do we take out over here? We did take out. I would honestly consider this almost. It almost feels like this wick was a data low. I don't know if it was, but from the look of it, it looks like a data low. So it might have been. I can't really tell. But either way, I'm just gonna call it giant wick, right? So this is a pretty significant draw on liquidity. Alex, maybe you can take PM trades during launch 1:30. Usually the markets get reversals, continuations trade, but use paper money. Yeah, definitely, Alex. Seriously, I would just seriously try not to risk your money because, I mean, if I could just tell myself that, because I lost a lot of money learning how to trade, and you really don't have to. But I mean, if you want to, you can. I'm not gonna tell you you shouldn't or you can't, but it's just it's really really hard, and most people I don't know. You can do it if you want. I'm not gonna say you can't. Paper trade a lot prior. Johnny funny. He thinks he's the only handsome guy. He is funny, man. I want to call this a data wick, but I don't know if it was, so I'm just gonna call it just like a regular wick. So I wonder if Dodgy took this. You guys think this would be a trade Dodgy would take or not? So this would be a 2-minute inverse for value gap. Should we check Twitter? The only thing is, I don't think there's any good draws on liquidity. And also, right, we're in free fall. So personally, I would not take this. But maybe Dodgy took it. Should we look on Twitter and see? Actually, let's go into his Discord and see. So just going to pull up Discord real quick. No, but Johnny's actually a pretty good trader, though. It's kind of impressive. I mean, yeah, making 100 and however many K. Like, I just saw, like, the title of that video, but that's insane. So, scrolling down here. Let's see. Trade recaps. Oh, my gosh. Okay, that's way earlier in the morning. What? Nah, you're right on time, man. You're right on time. We're still getting into it. We're still right in the middle of it, dude. Okay, he doesn't even mention it. So I'm probably not even going to write this one down because I wouldn't take this. I wouldn't take this because it doesn't make sense from a draw and liquidity point of view. Because we're just in free fall, and why am I longing? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense personally to me. I wouldn't take it. But just an observation. Now I'm wondering, we do probably have a change state delivery here. Wonder if we have like a 5-minute gap. We do, right? So now this is something where I'd maybe take this because measure out this displacement leg from high to low. You can see we have a 5-minute fair value gap in discount. And to be honest, I'd mark it out like that, right? Because that is still a fair value gap. It's just measured out differently. So, bang. So this fair value gap is in discount of the displacement. Then let's drop down. 30 seconds is our aligned time frame. And actually, this actually looks pretty clean. You could probably take this, and this would end up working out. Do we get SMT is the question. That's what I'm curious about. I'm looking at my other screen here. Right, so I personally want to wait for it to be obvious AMD. So this, not so obvious to me this is AMD. But this, once I see us just gently wick below the low, all of a sudden, okay, now that's obvious. That's obvious AMD. So accumulation. So I don't know if there's S&T, but I still think this is nice, even though there might not be. For me, it works because of time. I was out on the truck. Oh, you took this? Dang. That's impressive. What'd you take this as? Change state of delivery? An inverse value gap? Accumulation, right? Manipulation. I'm curious. Yeah, I really don't see SMT here. Unless I'm blind. It might be with a different low. Okay, if I don't see SMT, I guess it's not obvious. Actually, there's SMT with YM here. There is an SMT with YM here. So that's something, right? At least it's something. So SMT with YM right there. Once again, this is a nice 5-minute fair value gap. Why? Someone tell me why this is a nice 5-minute fair value gap, right? Because measuring out displacement. So this is the move up, the displacement, the obvious displacement. We're in discount of that displacement. And once again, right, the 5-minute gap was really like this, but I chose to draw it out like this. Whoops. So bring this back. Okay. So now, yeah, accumulation, SMT with YM here, manipulation. And at this point, it becomes very obvious, like, yeah, we're going to go run those highs. So I would enter on the change state of delivery on the 30-second. So like right here, you can enter on the close or the retest. Either one works. You could also wait for this fair value gap to get inversed. I have a girl mentor. She gave me homework this weekend and Monday. She is going to grade me, see if I'm following my rules, but she's going to give me more advanced. Dang, man. That's exciting. That is exciting. 10:30 a.m. into the IVG. Took it from bottom into it. Dang. 10:30 a.m. candle up into IVG. Interesting. So yeah, 30-second change state delivery. Closer, retest, both work here. Realistically, you know, I probably take this on the close because it closed so close. It's like it wouldn't really make that much of a difference, to be honest. But then we have, you know, low resistance highs all through here. That's probably what I would target, right? So I go like this, stop right there. Nice 2.33 to 1 right there. Pretty decent. And if you held a runner up to these low resistance highs or equal bodies here you can see there's equal bodies up here. Yeah, this is a nice one, actually. I like this a lot. This is very clean. It's just, it can be hard to see in the moment, but you guys can see how clean this is, right? Accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. And this is why I say, like, the market's gonna spend like 70% of the time it's gonna be in accumulation. I mean, pair out from a time point of view, pair it out. Like mentally, like remember, like, you know, we should at least have 70% accumulation, like 10% manipulation, and 20% distribution. That's usually how it goes. So just always keep that in mind for your trades, right? This is a very, very fitting example of that. I wish Jake was my mentor, bro. I'll be your mentor. You already know I'll be your mentor, man. Be my mentor. I can be your mentor for free, dude. I don't care. You don't even have to ask, bro. Clean right up to those low resistance highs. Now, obviously, you have to be ready, right? You can't just, you know, you have to be ready for this, and that's the issue. Another issue is, well, you know, you could have easily got faked out with this one. That one's not as good. That one's not nearly, this change to delivery here is not nearly as good as this one, and this is just gonna, you know, this is easily gonna trip you up. Like, easier said than done not to take that, but you just gotta remember, like, the signature, right? This doesn't look like it's ready to go run liquidity. This one does. So I take this one. I mean, it's very subtle, but it actually is different. You see how this one just doesn't look convincing, and then this one popped back below that low. We got a little tiny little internal sweep, basically like mini micro inducement here. And now all of a sudden, okay, yeah, this is obvious we're going to go run up to those highs. She's like ICT's daughter. Yes, I want to see, bro. I want to see. Wait, $5,000 for what? Who? $5,000 for what? I'm missing something. That's funny. Okay. Anyway, yeah, very clear low resistance highs, right? Why would this be a good target? Because look how obviously generated these highs are. Look how obviously generated those are. I mean, the market's going to come back there. So we wait for our entry, and then bang, right up to those low resistance highs. Now, this isn't in a macro, but still good. Let's go. Yeah, I'll mentor anyone. Like, obviously, guys, I'm still learning too. Like, I'm only in this 2 years compared to someone like, you know, Jade Cap, who's been in this 10 years. But you guys, if you guys want me to be your quote-unquote mentor, even though I'm still, everyone's always a student of the market. Let's be real, right? We're all always students of the market. But if you guys want me to be your quote-unquote mentor, like, just, you know, like, of course, dude, of course I'm always down to help you guys. So just, you can DM me or, you know, just talk to me on here. Okay, so did I screenshot it? For free? That's awesome, dude. 11:36. Flow state close. 5 minute, 30-second. Clean, very clean. And then we'll show the other example where, let's say you took it up to those equal bodies. That'd be 4.8 to 1. Insane. So screenshot this. I kind of want to check. Exactly, man, exactly. 11:37 flow state close, or 11:36 flow state close. 5 minute, 30-second, and then here's version number 2. Let's just measure out standard deviations for fun. Let's see how that would pair up, right? You can see right to in between that 4th and 5th standard deviation. That's pretty clean. If you wanted to just target the 4th standard deviation, you could do that. So I guess it would look like that, actually. Wow, perfectly to the 5th standard deviation. I've not really ever seen that much. But you can see in this scenario, we actually go perfectly to the 5th standard deviation. You trade the 25K or 50K apexes? I trade 50K apex accounts. And I'm actually curious how these higher time frame candles closed. So I'm going to take a look at that right after. But always remember, when you see the L or LR like this, we'll probably go twice as high. So anytime you have low resistance highs, that's at least rocket fuel to go at least like one projection higher. That's what I've noticed. Oh, I saw that too from Jade Cap. That's so funny. Yeah, I don't know why people think he's AI. To me, he's pretty obviously not AI, but okay. Number 3. Okay, I want to see higher time frame candles. I'm going to switch over to the other screen here. We should all stay here at backtest on Monday. What y'all think? We will be masters. Let's just keep it running. Keep the stream going till nonstop, dude. Nah, yeah, you already know that I would do that. How long have you been trading? Today is my 2-year mark, bro. 2 years today. Isn't that crazy? All right, let's switch over to the other screen. Whoop, not that one. See, I gotta delete some of my tabs because I don't even know which one's gonna switch it. Okay, the thing I wanted to look at is how do these 5-minute candles close? Because something that I've been observing recently, guys, and I think this is super valuable. You guys should all take notes of this because it's only just now hitting me how powerful this is. But, you know, after observing it happen enough in the market, you start to realize, like, oh my gosh, this is probably actually one of the most powerful concepts. And that concept is, and the reason it was so confusing to me for the longest time is because I didn't understand specifically how to use it. But when you get a CRT, right? When you get a CRT, it's not, oh, I'm just going to go down to the end of this first initial candle. No, it's, I'm going to go down to the end of the sequence of all 3 of these candles, right? You see how that actually, you know, if I only targeted the end of this first candle, it's like, oh, well, that's like not even half an hour. But if I target the end of the sequence of candles, right, the CRT references the sequence of candles. For instance, here, right, we get the CRT candle, we close lower. So once again, CRT is when you get a candle body sweep and then close back within the close, right? It remembers the end of that sequence of candles. It's not just it's not just a series of 3 candles. This is what took me so long to remember. It's going to remember the initial series, right? When I get the CRT, like, I'm trying to find another example. Like here, right? CRT, it's going to remember not just the high of this one. Well, actually, I guess that one, it does remember that one, but it also ends up remembering the high of this, right? Once again, here, right? It's gonna, when we get the CRT, it's gonna remember the high of this entire move lower. So like here. So super fascinating thing I realized about CRT. But you guys know how you can use that? Well, what you can do is you can look at, right? We get a sweep of that high, close back within that range at 2 a.m. This is on the 4-hour chart, right? So we mark out the close. We know this is CRT because series of 3 candles, and then we get our manipulation CRT candle. So let's drop down to lower time frame, right? And you can see here's our accumulation CRT wise, right? Here's our manipulation. Once again, from 2 until 6. So manipulation. And now we close here. So at this point, right? At this point, I am looking for an entry above the close of the manipulation to target the other side of the series of CRT candles. Hopefully that makes sense. But like, this was a huge light bulb for me that happened like this weekend, right? We're taking a look at this specific close of this specific candle. We need to sell. So once again, this is a 4-hour bearish manipulation close here, right? We are specifically looking to sell above the close of this manipulation candle to target the opposite side of the original candles of the CRT. So here's how this would look, right? If I look at S&P, you can see how powerful this was the other day. We got S&T with this high with the S&P, you see how that was this one, right? This is S&P, SMT right here, lower high on S&P, higher high on NASDAQ. And what could you anticipate this to be at this point, right? Not only is this S&T, but also we're above midnight. We're above midnight. So we get S&T above midnight and above 8:30. It's like all the stars aligned here, right? We sweep this high. And so what is this, right? You could buy these stop losses. You could induce these stop losses with a turtle soup, right? Turtle soup these stop losses with the S&T. And then target the opposing end of that initial candle range. You guys see how powerful this is? Genuinely so cool. What is this? Like, probably like, wow, 16R. So remember that signature, guys. I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant there, but like, remember the signature of wait for that manipulation candle to close, and then you're going to enter short above that close at, you know, a key level that makes sense to you. Sorry, guys, I need to read your messages. How long have you been trading? What made you get into trading, Jake? Or how did you discover it? Damn, 1 year for me. I hate backtesting, though. I'd rather get live data. Real. What got me into trading? It's a good question. Well, I'd be lying if I said I didn't get into it because I'd watch TJR videos. I saw the start of his boot camp, and I saw fair value gaps and stuff, and then I would just, you know, I would go on the charts and look at fair value gaps and be like, dang, bro, there's no way this stuff's not real. Like, it's 100% respecting fair value gaps. And so then I was like, this is so cool. And then from there, like, I was watching TJR's boot camp, but then I was like, I kind of want to, you know, I ended up trying to, like, just learn it on my own. And yeah, I would say the main reason I got into it was probably, you know, that boot camp when TJR, you know, posted that stuff back then. But I guess even before that, though, I'd always been into, like, you know, I'd always been into the markets. Like, I'd always been into crypto. I was into crypto forever before that. So, like, I've been in crypto since 2020. So, anyway, I'm curious how many people are watching now. Probably a lot less. Oh my gosh, 14 people? You guys are quiet, dude. You guys are quiet. You guys are quiet as heck. You guys stop talking. I figured there was a lot of people, but 14. Dang. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. So, you guys want me to show you the trade that I actually took last night? I can cover that again because now there's a lot more people here. I can show you the trade I took. It was like around 3R, but it was really nice. Let's go. Random guys back. Okay. I'll cover the trade I took again because I think it's valuable to talk about. I think it's a really valuable, you know, trade and a lot of lessons learned. I'm going black. Bro, you're watching too much TGR. Random guy. Okay, so I'll show you the trade I took. First of all, right, we sweep out all these highs. We get clear 4-hour change in state of delivery. This is very clear, objective change in state of delivery. This isn't like, oh, maybe this is change in state of delivery. No, objectively, this is really obvious. We got this change in state of delivery. And as well, with this change in state of delivery, we end up getting SMT with YM. So I liked that SMT with YM here. So this was kind of my higher time frame idea, you could say. Like, going into this, I was essentially like, okay, now that we've gotten this 4-hour change state delivery, I'm essentially anticipating us to go run these low resistance lows here, the end of this consolidation. If I measure this consolidation out, yeah, like you can see, this is like a huge liquidity pool here. So this is where I was looking as a possible draw on liquidity. And you can just see, you know, the market just leaves these lows here on purpose, because once we get that change in state delivery, the market's going to be ready to go run. So we get this change in state delivery, and it's the middle of the night, yesterday night, and I saw this liquidity pool, and I was like, dang, I bet you we're probably going to go run these lows and then run into this consolidation probably tonight. I was just thinking, I was just watching the chart, and I was like, I wonder if I could actually get in on this. And I saw this new day opening gap right here. You can see this is the gap between the close and the open of this new day. And I saw how the bodies respected this, and I was like, dang, that was actually really, really precise. And, you know, I'm already bearish because I have this higher time frame model, right? Accumulation. You see how this is accumulation? Manipulation. And then, so manipulation of this high. Essentially giant inverse fair value gap here, right? And then change state delivery. See how perfectly we backtest that, by the way? And then, yeah, obviously measure out standard deviations as well. So that's kind of what I did as well. So I had the first one here, the second one here. So I was like, okay, I think we're going to draw down to this first standard deviation, because this is kind of what I was looking at, is this first standard deviation is right below these low resistance lows here, right? This just looked like a really good liquidity pool. Like, see how these lows are kind of staggered like this, and then as well it's paired with, you know, these old highs. So there's just a lot of, there's probably a lot of volume within there, right? You see how there's a lot of volume within there. So I was looking to go, you know, essentially target that area. So I'm just gonna mark this out as a liquidity pool. So once again, this happened last night, and I did take this trade. And so what happened is we rejected this new day opening gap. Higher time frame accumulates, manipulates, and then obviously I can tell we're starting distribution. So I go, okay, yeah, how can I get in on this move to go run essentially these low resistance lows here? Because that was kind of where I thought the market was drawing. And also the first standard deviation. So drop down to lower time frame. You can see how precisely this new day opening gap was respected, right? New day opening gap, bang and bang, right? Okay, actually, let's draw it out like that. So yeah, I could tell once we rejected this, I've seen this happen so much in price action, guys, where when you reject these new day opening gaps, you start to deliver very aggressively towards your drawn liquidity. So I'm like, okay, I got to get in on this move. This is probably going to happen tonight. So I was like, okay, how could I get in on this? What's the most obvious way to get in on this? Well, the most obvious way to me was, well, I guess you could have entered on maybe this inverse fair value gap, but I didn't love that. I wanted like full conviction. It was either going to be either A, really, really be obvious and undeniable, or I wasn't going to take it. And it ended up being pretty obvious to me. We got this 1 hour change in state delivery off of the new day opening gap. And we just had such good liquidity below. I'm like, yeah, there's no way this shouldn't be at least break even, because I was going to go break even at this low. So I was like, this is really nice. I'm going to go ahead and take this and just target. I'm going to do 3 contracts, micro contracts, obviously. And then obviously when I do enter on the close, I don't do stop all the way at the high, because the whole point of entering on a close is I'm kind of just anticipating it to go around liquidity right away. And so 1 hour change state delivery within our higher time frame, 4 hour change state delivery, right? It's within higher time frame context. So 1 hour change in state of delivery right here. And then this was at like 2 in the morning. And then you can measure standard deviations of this. And that's exactly what I did, right? And I used these standard deviations as take profits. So I didn't take profit at the first one, but I went TP1, TP2, and I ended up trailing here. Now I'm not actually sure why. I thought we went and hit the fourth standard deviation. Oh, we did. I just couldn't see it. So we end up hitting it, the fourth standard deviation, barely. But what happened to me is, if I drop down lower time frame, mark out 1. So I went break even right at that low. You can see how that served me nicely. We did not come back there. I went TP1 at this second standard deviation. We consolidated there. And then we essentially went straight to the third standard deviation. So at this point, I'm out most. I only have 1 contract left. And then I kind of screwed this up. I wasn't planning on trailing my stop, but I think I was like just tired and I wanted to go to bed. I don't even know what happened. I think I just closed out the position at this point. Yeah, because I wasn't planning on trailing it where I did, but I ended up trailing it there. But you can see it did end up going and hitting that fourth standard deviation, kind of. I guess it wasn't perfect, but anyway. So yeah, once again, 3 contracts, TP1, TP2, and then I trailed the last one. And you can see that is the exact trade I took, and I can show you right here, right? Let's go here. Where did I screenshot it? Where's my screenshot folder? Screenshots. Let's look for screenshots. That's not it. Oh, I put it in the Discord. Let me go to the Discord. So yeah, guys, I don't even know if anyone's watching anymore. You guys are so quiet. But scrolling up, you can see I'm not lying. This is exactly what happened. And yeah, I don't know what happened there, but I just kind of messed up, and I was like, oh, should not have trailed there, but I ended up doing it. So anyway, yeah, that's what happened. That was the trade I took. I was pretty happy about it. Covered a lot of my losses from the past week, so, you know. Let's go, random guy. I appreciate it, bro. There's still 14 of you watching. How? You guys are so quiet. You guys must be, like, at work or something. Putting it in the background and putting it in your AirPods. I don't know, man. Okay, now there's only 9 watching. It's a lot less. But still. 9 is still a lot. 9 is still a lot. Look how perfectly we reject that new day opening gap. So you could even maybe, like, you didn't even need to take a 1 hour change state delivery from this. Once again, like, new day opening gaps, they don't really align with the 1 hour. I was just taking it as a change state delivery, honestly. But honestly, you could probably take this on a 15 or a 5-minute change state delivery, and that actually probably would have worked better. What was the one from the other day? There was one from the other day. Let's look at our notes from the other day. It was on, like, Wednesday? Right? I titled it, like, New Day Opening Gap or something. Like, what time frame do you guys think is best aligned with the New Day Opening Gap? Because I originally thought it was, daily PD array, 1 hour change state delivery, but I'm not going to lie. I don't think that I don't think new day opening gaps are daily PD arrays, to be honest, because they never align with like 1 hour very well. So I'd probably say I would just use common sense when it comes to this, right? What makes sense from a how big is the new day opening gap, and then just go off of what kind of change state delivery makes sense. For me here, 15-minute one does make a lot of sense. So, or maybe even a 5-minute one. Maybe the 5-minute one works a little better. We don't come up to that. You like 5-minute? Yeah. Yeah, 5-minute looks nice, to be honest. So you can take this as a 5-minute change state delivery here. Yeah, I actually do really like that. It works as well. It works as a 15-minute, but I don't like the 15-minute as much as I like the 5-minute. 5-minute looks pretty clean. When 5-minute, when you pair it with a new day opening gap, are you talking about pairing a 5-minute change state delivery with a new day opening gap? I think that's what you're saying. So that would mean if we're pairing a new day opening gap with a 5-minute change state delivery, that would mean new day opening gaps are like 1 hour PD arrays. So 5-minute CSD with ndog means ndog acts like a 1 hour PD array. Wah, forget ndog. Dude, if you don't want to learn about ndogs, don't watch this stream, because I'm going to talk about them. They're awesome, bro. If you don't get that, you don't need to watch this stream, dude. I'm sorry, I want to be like a really good trader, not just an average trader, and guess what? New day opening gaps, insanely precise, man. If you don't know that, I like literally can't help you, dude. You got to look in the charts and find for yourself. Okay, man. Sounds good. Bro, you don't know what you're missing out on, I'm just saying. Like, it is insane how precise new day opening gaps can be. But I'm not going to try and convince you, because if you don't get it, then it's not worth convincing. Okay. Five-minute change state delivery. And yeah, look how, man, we probably hit the 8th standard deviation here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, just barely. Did I measure it out badly? It looks like I measured it out fine. We just barely missed it. Or maybe we did hit it. Look how precise this is, guys. I think I measured it out badly. Let's try that. Dang, yeah, there we go. See, now that fits. Our power. Exactly, man. You get it. You get it. You get it. This is crazy how precise this is. This is why I like to, when you have a tight stop loss and a really good draw on liquidity, going to the 8th standard deviation it actually goes the 8th standard deviation quite a bit, pretty precisely. And this is something you'll learn from absolutely no one else but me, because no one else has ever talked about it, because I didn't find this on the internet. I just observed it through observation. But yeah, like genuinely, the when it's a tight entry point with a tight stop loss with a really good draw on liquidity, the 8th standard deviation gets pretty accurate. It's something you'll notice from backtesting if you guys do decide to backtest that. But wow, new day opening gap means ndog is acting like a 1 hour PD array. That's essentially what this is. ndog is essentially a 1 hour PD array. You know, we are within. Kane has a nice model as well. Good for him. I don't really care. Like, nice, okay. Like, Kane's a really good trader, though, I will admit. I just don't know how that's relevant to this. Who's Sniper? Who's Sniper? That's cool. So yeah, N-Dog. Bang, dude. Just absolutely beautiful. 5-minute change state delivery retest. Down to that 8th standard deviation like it was, you know, a bullet to the chest, dude. Bang. Now, you know, obviously, I never would do just all to the 8th standard deviation or nothing, right? But you scale out, right? You scale out. So TP1, TP2, TP3, and then you just trail out all the way down. So yeah, anyway. And the reason you would want to target this is it aligns with something real. It aligns with that low resistance liquidity we were talking about earlier. So we know that that's where stop losses are going to be. So that's why it makes sense conceptually, right? Conceptualize where the stop loss is, and then take a trade targeting those stop losses. Honestly, a lot of people do not get into very good detail. The N-Dog is really good, but we don't trade into it some days. Yeah. That's true. But you just have to use it when you notice it. N-Wog is also really good. Bang. Screenshot that. So that's another way you could have taken it. Another way you could have taken this same trade, right? So what is this? Flow state retest, 0020. 0020. Flow state retest. 1 hour, 5 minute. Let's actually switch screens because I want to have a bigger screen. Back to this one. Right. Did I save the screenshot I just saved? I don't even know if it saved. I'm gonna screenshot it again. Okay, just 1 second, guys. I have so many screenshots, it's insane. Alright, sounds good, Haney. Peace out. Good night. 9:24 a.m. You stay up all night? Oh, I already did write it down. Okay. But what do you use for putting your orders? I like charts from TradingView. Just seems kind of buggy. So I use a prop firm. I use Apex, and so I just use Tradeovate with Apex, and it works fine. All right. Good night, random guy. See you guys. All right. Good night. I'm just gonna keep going because I might whatever it's called I might make the market recap. Should I make the market recap? Wait, never mind. Random guy saying. Staying. 2350. So as well, right? 2350. You could have taken this as a regular 2022 model. Where was it? Probably with a 15-minute gap. Wait, I don't see it. Oh. Okay, it's not obvious. What about on the 3-minute? Anyway, my point is, liquidity sweep, a break of this low, and essentially all of this is a giant fair value gap, right? So this delivers us to go lower, right? Liquidity sweep, break of this low. Essentially, this is a giant gap. and then we go lower. That was my point with that, saying you could enter this as a 2022. So I'll just mark it out like this, right? Liquidity sweep. Yeah. Break of this low. And then measure out the displacement. We probably hit equilibrium. Yeah. Yeah, my point with this is it's also a 2022 model. But it's not an obvious for value gap, but it's still a gap. It's still a gap. Okay. And I just want to screenshot this if I haven't already. I kind of wanted to look at more from the morning. What was this? 0018. 18, 2022, 3 minute. Okay. Yeah, look at how this is algorithmic displacement, guys. Do you guys see how when we displace lower and it looks like this is when you're in conditions for the 2022 model. Because every single fair value gap feels like the market can't breathe. That is the algorithmic displacement I'm talking about when I want to see the 2022 model work. Right? Every single fair value gap feels like this literally the market can't even breathe. And then that's when the 2022 model is going to work. So, yeah. Where's the... Yeah. My point is 2022 model is really powerful. A lot of people don't understand it. I mean, you could consider this the 2022 gap. So just something to observe when you're watching price action is the market clearly moving algorithmically and delivering off of 2022 gaps? That's probably meaning the market's going to respect those gaps. 250. Yeah, I'm gonna call this algorithmic delivery. Do you think we retrace back up next week, then continue to sell off? I know you can't predict the future, but what's your bias for next week? Yeah, let's take a look at that. So, I guess it also kind of depends how the week closed. Right? So, this was a really nice objective for me. I really wanted to see these low resistance lows get taken. So, that was my immediate short-term draw on liquidity once we got that change state delivery. Now we're at the point where we're clearly getting some good displacement. Let's measure out that 4-hour change state delivery, right? Because I do think this is a 4-hour model because, well, this was a really obvious 4-hour change state delivery. So, right? So if you think about this from, AMD point of view, right? I could see this being accumulation. Manipulation with SMT. Feels like we're distributing. I wonder, let's look at monthly stat map. I never talk about this, but we can do higher time frame stat maps. Yeah, to me, this was like an accumulation range. So because we have low resistance, like lows all through here, like right, all this is low resistance liquidity. You see that? Where are you at in your trading journey? What is your current goal? Making progress, bro. Um, I'm funded. I've gotten payouts. Just working on consistency. That's what I'll say. So here's the monthly statistical manipulation level. That got hit. The monthly statistical distribution level down here. Once again, that like might not mean anything, but I just like to like use it as a possibility, right? Might not mean anything. But the reason I actually kind of like it is because, well, with these low resistance lows, I could see the market continuing through these low resistance lows. I kind of wonder, where's there a weekly fair value gap, right? There's a weekly fair value gap here. This is kind of, there's no other weekly fair value gap until here. What about on S&P? I'm gonna look at S&P real quick. Where's there a gap on S&P? Drawn down. Same thing, right? Weekly gap. Let's switch over to the other screen. Weekly gap is just a little bit lower. So back to the main screen. Right, this is gonna be a breaker. The highest up close candle before this giant move lower. This is going to be very strong. Weekly fair value gap right here. Well, let's look at the monthly. Monthly fair value gap here. We will probably at least go to the monthly low because that's the monthly. Oh my gosh. Well, this is the start of the monthly fair value gap, right? Okay, with all that in mind, so we looked at the higher time frame. Higher time frame is expanding higher though. So with all that in mind, we do have this 4-hour change state delivery. We have back tested it. We're probably at the second standard deviation. If not, we're close. I kind of think it'll probably go something like, temporarily relief. Because we did get this daily close, right? We got this daily close. So now, this is a daily breaker. So is this. It's a 4-hour breaker. So what'll probably happen most likely, I wonder if we drop down to the hourly, if it makes some more sense. See, I would think we would hit the second standard deviation. So we'll probably, here's what I think is going to happen, right? We'll probably finish going to the second standard deviation. Once we hit this, then that will probably be when we get relief. That's my guess. Then we come up to this breaker. And then continue to the fourth. I don't know, though. That's just my guess. That's totally speculation, obviously. I don't know the future. But from an AMD point of view, it kind of makes sense. Fourth standard deviation aligns with this consolidation as well. Let's see that real quick. Yeah, this is a giant liquidity pool right at the fourth standard deviation. So it kind of makes sense we could go there. It would also mean that, we dig pretty deep into the weekly fair value gap. Maybe we don't go that deep, to be honest. Maybe we just hit the third standard deviation. But just based off of liquidity and I would expect us to drive through this and enter this weekly gap. So we probably have a little bit further lower to go, but how we get there, I have no idea. That's probably what I'll say. I don't know. What do you think? Right, we could do range projections. Right, second standard deviation hit. So we could very well possibly, deliver down to this. $1.1K near? No way. Only a few more subs? No way. Dude, we hit 1.1K. We're at 1,101. That's crazy. That's insane. That is so cool, man. So yeah, SMT with this high, right? So manipulation. So my guess is we're in a distribution phase. I think. Where's M? Where's M at? Right, we hit the second standard deviation of that range. I think we still have a little bit more further to deliver, but how we get there, I don't know. Like we could retrace into this breaker. We could go here first, then go up. I don't know, but in general, probably bearish bias because these are low resistance lows. And like I was saying, when you have low resistance lows, usually you drill through them. I'm thinking lower to we go too, but I don't know how we get there too. Yeah, because like I was saying, right, when you leave low resistance lows, typically you drive through them. And it makes a lot of sense that we should do that because there's a weekly gap below. So you would think that that would at least deliver us at least somewhere in the middle of this weekly gap. I think this is a weekly gap, right? Let's see. Yeah, it would put us somewhere within this weekly gap. How far into it, I'm not sure. Once again, we could look at the third standard deviation. It's also a possibility. All right. Third standard deviation actually seems kind of realistic because, it's a line, both a range projection and a standard deviation. Oh, you know what we can look at, though? We can look at our dealing range. Let's look at the dealing range that we're in. Yeah, let's go ahead and look at the dealing range. Right, so the high of the dealing range is probably going to be around here. We got to turn it way up. Okay, we got to bring it down now. Okay, we got to bring it down another one. And we might even need to go up another power of 3. Okay, we sweep liquidity. All right, so we already kind of completed this one, right? But we sweep liquidity into the high of the dealing range. We deliver to the low of the dealing range. Drop down lower time frame. Fair value gap should form right here. That's exactly where the fair value gap forms. So that was actually really precise, right? This was a 15-minute fair value gap. Whoops. You see that for value gap, right? 15-minute for value gap within the for value gap partition. We deliver down to the dealing range low. So temporarily, we've kind of like completed the model in like the short term. Now, if I zoom out a little further, so yeah, once again, this was a 1 hour for value gap, perfectly within the 1 hour, perfectly within the for value gap partition. Coincidence? No. We deliver all the way down to the low of the dealing range. So yeah, let's bring up the power of 3 one more. And let's go ahead and drag it down 1, maybe 2. Yeah, I think we'll go to the 4th standard deviation. How we get there, I don't know, but that's my guess. 4th standard deviation from the change state delivery to the 4th. I think that's where we go. That's my complete guess, right? Anyway, I kind of want to make today's market recap, but do we have a daily for value gap? How about a 4 hour for value gap? Right, so we have displacement, so we might need to come up to, I feel like we would need to come up to this 4 hour for value gap right here. Yeah, we'll probably come up to this 4 hour for value gap right here. And then this will probably deliver us to the 4th. I don't know though. I really don't know. Like, yeah, just rip up. And then, once again, breaker overlapping with for value gap, and then rip down. I don't know. Speculation. Okay. So that was a lot of backtesting. We looked at a lot. I kind of want to possibly film. Oh, yo, I got a sub. Let's go. I'm kind of thinking might want to film the market recap for today. Oh, there's 9 of you guys watching still. That's crazy. I kind of want to look at a little bit more price action though, because I think there was just a little bit more that I haven't looked at, and I want to look at specific trades within that. So let's just drop down into yesterday just a little bit more, and just find a little bit more into like what else happened, right? From high to low, we retest premium. So this 5-minute gap, once again, why do I pick this? Because this is the most obvious displacement leg on the chart. This is the most obvious displacement leg on the chart. So this is the one I want to measure. And now what do we have here? We have a 5-minute for value gap placed well above these old highs here. So 5-minute for value gap. Yeah, I'll probably film the market recap right after this. That's probably what I'll do. So 5-minute for value gap. Also an order block, right? Why is this a strong order block? Because it is the order block that's right before this large move down. Like, conceptualize this, right? This, compared to this move down, this is super tiny. And, like, the ratio between how tiny the order block is and the move lower, honestly, that's going to determine how sensitive it is. So, also order block, right? How about you do some little job testing instead, my little DJ and gambler? Okay, anyway, like I said, 5-minute gap. Bro, I don't even know. Like, I can't even help you if you're that close-minded. Like, I genuinely, I can't help you. Like, and I don't even feel the need to convince you either. And I feel bad for you because you're never gonna get a chance to know the truth. And I mean, yeah, it just sucks for you. I don't feel the need to try and convince you. Once again, I want to teach people, but only teach people who, you know, want to actually learn and want to know the truth. Yeah, this was clean. So once again, 5 minute for value gap in premium. I just don't get the need to come on my stream and, like, he genuinely, like, I feel bad for people like that because they really just don't know what they're talking about and they're really missing out. But I don't feel the need to try and convince them because they're going to stay being liquidity for the rest of their lives, man. I'm the one out here trying to help those kinds of people. And if they don't have an interest in it at all and they're going to be that closed-minded, then that's on them. Like, I'm literally out here providing all this information completely for free. Completely for free. Like, all this stuff is gate kept by institutions. Like you would probably have to pay institutions tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to get access to like a lot of the stuff I'm telling you guys. And I'm giving it to you for free. You know what I'm saying? And these people out here are like, they're just never gonna get it, and I feel bad for them, but I also don't because I'm trying to help them, and I'm trying to help them. I'm doing it for free, so it is what it is. Like there's always gonna be people like that are stubborn, and yeah, I'm only gonna help the people that actually first have belief, and then also want to learn, have the willingness to learn. Okay. Anyway, 5 minute gap in premium. Right, this is pretty clearly like just a giant range. So I like this as accumulation. And you can see that we also have equal lows here. Triple equal lows, actually. So accumulation, manipulation, I'm not talking about order blocks and FVGs, bro. I'm talking about just in general, like yeah, that included, but in general, like the stuff that, like, what percent of the world knows, genuinely, what percent of the world knows what a new day opening gap is? I want you to answer that honestly. It is less than 0.001%. So yes, it's gate kept, dude. Like, obviously, there's levels to it. Because there's definitely a lot of people on the internet that you could go on the internet and find it pretty easily. But still, it's powerful information. And for you to come on the stream and just be like, yo, saying all that stuff, it's just so stupid. It is so stupid, and I feel bad for you because you're never going to get it. You're going to stay unprofitable, and you are literally biting the hand that's feeding you. Literally, I'm giving you so much gold here, and you just come on the stream and just, you get what I'm saying? Like, I want to help you, but you got to be open-minded, man, because otherwise, yeah, it's really not for people that are closed-minded. Yeah, I know. Okay, like I was saying, right? Accumulation, manipulation. So once we get this break of this low, we're pretty clearly ready to start to distribute, right? So 5-minute gap. So, you can mark this as the liquidity sweep, or you can mark it out as this. I mean, both of them are, liquidity sweeps. I'm curious if this was SMT. So let's look here. And it literally was SMT too. That's so crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we have SMT at the high. Right? Thank you, random guy. I appreciate you backing me up, man. Appreciate you. Genuinely, Gustavo, bro, why are you still here? Why are you still in the chat, bro? Go home. Go home. Just leave. You don't need to watch the stream. You can just leave. You can just leave, Gustavo. Like, no one here really cares or is listening to what you're saying because you're just being annoying. Anyway, let's keep going. So, yeah. Anyway, SMT. 30-second change state delivery, right? See how clean this is, right? Triple equal lows, 30-second change state delivery. It's like perfect. Skull emoji is real, dude. I can't even. I'll never get it, man. I'll never get why. Yeah, I'll never get, like. Yeah, it genuinely is not worth arguing. I'm trying to help him. Dude, Gustavo. Yeah, no, I want to see Gustavo try and live trade. Right, so 30-second chain state delivery. And so 5-minute aligns with the 30-second. We measure out standard deviations. You could take it as this one. You could take either one, right? Oh. Look how perfectly that lines up with those equal lows, triple equal lows. Gustavo, man, you're funny. You trade the 30-second chart? Well, yeah, because I'm aligning it with a 5-minute key level. I trade any chart, dude. As long as it makes sense from a AMD perspective, does it make sense? Accumulation, manipulation, distribution? Then yeah, I can trade the 30-second. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Just have to conceptualize, like, where are the stop losses. Like, I was literally showing them a trade you could have taken on the 5-second earlier. So, yeah, triple equal lows. And you guys see, how clean this is, right? Like, the accuracy you can get in some trades when you know what you're doing, it is genuinely absurd. And so, anyway, we have a macro from 1250 to 1310. And yeah, once again, I always scale out, so it's never all or nothing. So first standard deviation, second standard deviation. You see how every single spot is kind of where the market will have a little reaction. That's because smart money's taking profit there, right? Every single standard deviation is profit taking. Whoops. So yep, this is how I take this trade. I guess I'll say exactly, you know, where I put my take profits and stuff. So let's take a look at that. So I'd probably go, let's see here. So I'd enter here on the 30-second chain state delivery, or maybe on this one. Let's see what would happen if I entered on this one. How do the standard deviations look on this? Similar thing, right? This one would have worked as well. So I'd probably actually enter on this one, just being realistic. I want to actually be realistic. I'd probably enter on that just to make sure I got filled. And then second one hit, third one, and then fourth. And what do I always say? The models will end in between the fourth and fifth standard deviations. Well, this one actually keeps going, but that's where, like, you know, smart money is like, yeah, we're done. So just a giant liquidity pool here, right? Triple equal lows. And yeah, so the way I'd probably do this personally is I'd probably go break even here. Break even. Yeah, I'd go break even in TP1. Yeah, I'll just do one TP at each of them. That's probably what I'll do. I mean, that's honestly my new favorite way to go. It's just one TP at each standard deviation. So I'm just going to do that. So I'm probably going to film the market recap. I think we've got so much I could talk about. What's your thoughts on Forex? Do you think you'll ever start trading Forex? Yeah, I like Forex a lot. I don't know. There's always issues with, you know, being in the U.S. and trading Forex. I'm sure you could do it, right? I'm sure you can. I don't know. Futures are just way more straightforward to trade from, like, a regulatory standpoint. I don't even know. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with it, but I just don't want to have to deal with any issues if there are any, so. But I think futures are cool. I mean, not futures, Forex. Yeah, just a matter of time before we catch these live, guys. Could you imagine how cool that would be? We all take this banger. Be so sick. Okay. So TP1 and break even. TP2. TP3. And final take profit. Smacked right there. Bang. Clean. Clean as can be. Okay, screenshotting this. Here we go. And then I think I might film the market recap, guys. Yeah, probably. And I mean, we could look a little bit longer. It depends. How many people are watching? If there's quite a bit, I'll keep going. There's still 9 of you guys watching. Dang. So, you guys see how I'm doing this, right? 5-minute gap, sweep liquidity into it, 30-second chain state delivery, all TPs hit. Let's just look at one more. Let's look at one more. Or like another possibility. So, 12:34, flow state, retest, 5-minute, 30-second. This was also, I'm guessing this was an inverse value gap. That's that is a clean inverse value. This is an inverse value gap you want to marry, guys. yeah. When I see an inverse value gap like this, bro, I'm full porting. No, not actually, but like, this is a really good inverse value gap. Holy. Yeah, guys. Wow. Genuinely, this is beautiful. Whoa. So yeah, triple equal lows. This is the kind of trade Dodgy would be screaming about. I literally took that trade today. No way, Kirk. That's awesome. That's so great. Yeah, so initial consolidation. This was another accumulation here. And then let's get rid of all these. I guess you could use the same take profits for this one. Actually, this would be a lot better as a 1-minute chain state delivery. Now that I'm looking at it. Like, this is a really good trade though. Like yeah, even just 1 to 2, like that's huge, man. That's huge. This is crazy nice. If you have the patience to just only take trades like this, genuinely, like if you only took trades like this once a month, you would be a millionaire. But is realistically, are we going to take stupid trades? Like, obviously we don't want to, but I mean, we're human. The goal is obviously you don't want to, but yeah, anyway. Pretty cool. The S&T just makes it so much better too. So this was an inverse value gap, 1228. IFEG, 1 minute. That was pretty clean. I mean, like, I want to end the stream, but like, we just keep going and we keep finding more stuff. Like, it's just, there's so many opportunities every single day, and a lot of people don't even have any idea that there is, but there is. 1228 inverse value gap, 1 minute. Obviously, if I was taking this for real, I'd probably just take profit here, or maybe, here. I would not hold this whole thing, but I'm just showing that you could, right? Yeah, I was just looking at that as well, Kirk. I'm wondering if there was a 15-minute gap. Yeah, this is a 15-minute gap as well. 15-minute fair value gap. Yeah. This actually might, I think this is a lot more accurate on a 15-minute 1 minute. Yeah, you guys can see how much more accurate this is, right? And I actually like this accumulation better than whatever I drew out before. Yeah, this is clean. This is actually like perfect. I'm not even gonna lie. Oh. Yeah, you could enter off of either of these change state deliveries, or whichever one you want, really. Probably do this because I don't want to have to redraw the standard deviations, and it really doesn't matter that much. But once again, this is also a 2022 model because we break structure, retrace to a fair value gap. So there's just so many models that play all the time. It's Saturday for me. I think they're talking about the trades that they took on Friday. I think it's Saturday for everyone. If it's not Saturday, then that's crazy. Time traveler, I guess. Yeah, 1 minute CISD is the clean is such a clean entry from a 15-minute premium fair value gap. Bang. That's nice. I wish this was in the PM macro. That would have been so nice. But still. Yeah, that's really nice. So 15-minute gap. So you could take this as a 15-minute 1 minute trade. Yeah, there's a million things to talk about for this market recap. I feel like you could just keep going. 12:34. I'm actually gonna keep going. I'm enjoying myself. I don't feel the need to stop. So I know it's been a long time, but I'm not doing anything. I'm fine. You guys watch as much or as little as you want, right? But like also, this is a 2022 model because I mean, we might need to look and see. I'm curious if there's like a 2 minute gap. Yeah, there's a 2 minute fair value gap here. So this is the most clean on the 2 minute. But either way, even if there's not a gap here, I can still tell this is a 2022 model because of the way we break this low and then retrace to around equilibrium. Yeah, equilibrium. But there is a 2 minute gap there. So we can use that. This is a really nice 2022 model. Like, this is why I like the 2022 model so much. It doesn't get simpler than this, guys. I mean, so clean, so obvious. I don't even need to have the accumulation here, right? Literally I don't even care about this. All I care about is sweep. Well, actually, I do care about that. I mean, it's important that we swept external highs, right? But what I'm saying is, it's just a clean sweep, break of the low, right? Break of structure, here, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just obvious break of structure. And then a fair value gap at equilibrium on the 2 minute. So you can measure out standard deviations. Once again, we go to the 4th. How clean is that? We actually go to the 7th. Bang. Bang. Yeah, obviously I'm scaling out, but I just wanted to, show that this is a 2022 model as well. I'm not going to redraw all the take profits. You guys already know that I always scale out. That's crazy. How did it end up being 5-1? I don't get that. Oh, because you entered the fair value gap, not the change state delivery. So yeah, 2022 model, 1236. Let's save that one. 2022 model, 2 minute. And you know, as well, like, this is why I preach that, you know, algorithmic displacement matters so much. Because, you know, when we get this algorithmic displacement, every single fair value gap that gets created when we're algorithmically displacing is going to hold price. And you can see that's the exact same case here as well. So even though this one's not even in premium, it's still holding price in a chokehold. The market's in it's being like a, you know, it's like a python not letting any room to breathe. It's holding the market. These 2022 gaps just extremely algorithmic, no time to breathe. That's essentially what's going on. No room to retrace. I'm going to get rid of that. We already know that that's equilibrium. I'll keep it. Yeah, so I'm just going to show, like, when the market is algorithmically displacing, all these fair value gaps will hold. Oh, what the heck. Okay. Okay, we could look at something else now. I mean, what else is there? I mean, I always say that, but then there's always something else. So, yeah, once again, we've ran those low resistance lows. Oh, wow, that's a pretty obvious SMT with YM. Yo, man, I'm going to go somewhere. Good luck on the backtesting. Sounds good, man. I have no idea how long I'm going to be here, but yeah, there was SMT with YM with this. I wonder if there's anyone watching still. Whoa, there's still 9 people watching. I was like, maybe I should just end the stream if no one's here, but it's still 90, man. That's crazy. You guys must leave these running in the background, I swear. It's like, Jake's voice is just soothing. I don't know, man. Either way. 15-minute rejection block. Right? 15-minute rejection block. And I need to show my other screen for this. So here you can see YM, right? So to take this as a Phoenix model, you would have to trade this on YM because, hey, do you trade live daily? Yep. That doesn't mean that I'm going to win, though. But I do try my best, right? But I'm a human being and I make mistakes. But that's trading for you. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. I was going to say 22, but I'm 23. Okay, so like I was saying, 15-minute rejection block with SMT. What happens? We hold it on YM and we don't hold it. Yeah, man, for sure. You're more than welcome. Just, yeah, of course, man. Anytime, just show up anytime. I'm alive every day, at least. I better be. I kind of missed this last Friday, which was not good, but yeah, there's really no reason I shouldn't be live every single day. Hopefully, I follow through with that. No, I will, 100%. I'm not even gonna let myself consider not. So yeah, rejection block, SMT with YM. So what I'm saying is, if you were to take this as a Phoenix model, which is literally just whenever you have SMT with a rejection block, you enter on the asset that hasn't purged the low, which would be YM in this case. But I don't really like Phoenix model just on its own. I like taking it with a flow state. So I'm just gonna show Phoenix model YM. Let's screenshot this. So this is the model that Powell trades, just literally just SMT with a rejection block. But I like to get a little bit more precise than that because I hate when it fails. Which, I mean, as long as you know what you're doing, it doesn't need to fail. But okay, 1405, 50-minute. Wait, yeah. Oh, it's a 5-minute rejection block. So 5-minute. Wait, no. So this is a Phoenix model, just a regular one, not my own version of it that I made up, but just the normal Phoenix model. And 5-minute. Okay. All right. Back to what I was doing. So yeah, 5-minute rejection block. That's not what I wanted. So then I would be looking for sweep and 30-second change state delivery. So this is my own version of the Phoenix model, which I changed it to be like flow state. So I look for 30-second change state delivery. So we end up getting that here. 30-second change state delivery happens here. We have low resistance highs all through here. Very nicely generated, actually. So once again, low resistance highs are when you just, have a really nice trend line here. Okay, so there's low resistance highs. So that's the draw on liquidity, right? We get a sweep of the low. So what is this? Accumulation, right? Accumulation. Manipulation of the low. So then we need to get on side with distribution. How do we do that? Well, we have a 5-minute key level. We use a 30-second change state delivery. As well, this is a 2022 model because you break this high and then you retest the fair value gap. So accumulation, manipulation. So clean. And then 30-second change state delivery. So once again, it's not even a macro. Oh, it's a Hydra macro, 20 until 40. So any 20 until 40 minute period of time. So if it's like 1420 to 1440, that's a macro. It's a Hydra. It's I don't even know. I only ever heard Hydra talk about them, but then I started backtesting them, and I was like, oh dang, these actually work out pretty well. So once again, 5-minute rejection block. We have SMT with YM at the low. And clear accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Yeah, here we go. 30-second chain state delivery. I'd probably measure it out like this. I don't see why not. Yeah, that would have worked out way better. I don't even think this would have worked out if you tried to do it like this. See, this is why we backtest, right? See, that does not, measuring it like that just makes no sense. We don't even hit the 4th standard deviation, so I would not measure it out like that. We'll measure it out like this, up to that 4th standard deviation. That's pretty nice, I can't lie. So many opportunities every single day. We just gotta catch them. And once again, like, we are in, discount. Oh, another thing we should look at is, right, were we at equilibrium of that price leg? That's another thing to think about. So yeah, detect manipulation, get onside with distribution. That's all you're doing in trading. And then 1st standard deviation. So once again, personally, I like to do one take profit at every standard deviation. That's just what I like to do. So and obviously you can trail, nothing wrong with that, but I'm not gonna specifically go into how you would do that right now because yeah, you could figure that out pretty easily, right? Just trail it beneath whatever fair value gap makes sense to you. And yeah, wow. Once again, let's measure this out, premium to discount. You can see we hit equilibrium as well. So that's another confluence. So okay. I'm not gonna put that there though. Long entry here, stop loss here. All TPs would have got hit here. Pretty cool. Okay, you can even measure it like this. That's clean. That is clean. Oh my gosh. Oh, clean. Okay, screenshot that. Oh, I gotta put the TPs in. Let's do that. Okay, TP1 and break even. Yeah, I think we're good enough to film the market recap, to be honest. I've been going for quite a while. There's so many trades. So I'll just go ahead and film it. It just kind of depends how many people are watching. Like, if we still got a lot of people, then maybe I'll keep going. There's still none of you guys watching. You guys are so quiet. Maybe I'll backtest a little more. I mean, this market recap's gonna be so nice. Like, I don't even know if you guys are you guys must be like eating. I don't know. TP3. You guys see how this is a buy model, right? Clean, super clean buy model. Whoops. So TP4. Bang. All TPs hit. Once again, guys, notice what I keep saying about how the accumulation, from a time perspective, right? I've seen this happen so much of the time. Accumulation is like 70%, manipulation is like 10%, and distribution is like 20%. Don't ask me why. It's just how it is. I don't know why. It's so weird. Like, but I keep, like, you will look at the market over and over again, you'll realize this, right? It's like, what is it, 70%? Kind of curious. Let's actually just get out a little measurement device. Time-based. Right? This is kind of helpful to figure out, like, you know, I like to write this down every once in a while because it can be helpful from a like time perspective. Okay, how long should it take for us to actually hit those highs? Can it show me the what is the tool called? Oh, date range. Okay. So accumulation. So from here to here, that's essentially the accumulation. So I'd say from here to here, 138. Exactly. So 138. Then manipulation's about probably like, I don't know, like 16. It's like nothing. And then the distribution, probably from when we hit the change day delivery, I'd probably have this be manipulation, all this. So like 20, let's just simplify it to 20, 140, and then 60, or yeah, 50. So simplified, it's, what's the calculation, what's the math on that, right? This is a rough estimate, obviously. This is not exact, but it's just, you know, it's just nice to observe stuff like this, right? So I'm going to actually screenshot this. So 140 plus 20 plus 50. So 210. 140 divided by 210. So roughly 66% of the time is accumulation. $20 divided by 210, about 9.5% manipulation. So this is just for the specific calculation. Obviously, every single time is going to be different. We could just round up to 10%. And then distribution, 50 divided by 210. 24%-ish. Interesting, right? Something to keep in mind, right? It's obviously going to vary, but just keep this roughly in your head. Like, that's how long each phase should take. If it's not, if it's like super far off from that, you're probably doing something wrong, right? But that's kind of like what you should expect from a time point of view. So I'm going to screenshot that. But then I'm also going to delete that and then re-screenshot just the model. length of time case study. Okay, let's get rid of that. So screenshot this one more time, give ourselves a little bit more room. Okay. So 1420 flow state retest 5 minute 30-second. No, this is actually not just flow state retest, flow state Phoenix, because we're using a rejection block. So anytime we use a rejection block as our key level, I like to call it the Phoenix flow state Phoenix, because the regular Phoenix model has SMT with a rejection block. So it's just like, okay, we're kind of combining the two models. Okay. Yeah, man, I don't even know. There's, at this point, like, did we just start to consolidate the rest of the day? But interesting, we do retrace here. You know, this is measuring from this high to this low. Once again, I like the obvious displacement. We do rebalance to premium. 5 minute for value gap and premium. So I guess a BPR as well. So I wonder, maybe we have maybe there's a like retracement type of trade here, but I'm not gonna say for sure, right? I don't really know. Let's go look at it. 5 minute. Yeah, probably will not at this point just be done. Okay, yeah, this ends up being a retracement trade where, you know, we get a change to delivery, you could enter on the close, otherwise you would not get filled. And we do wick into the 4th standard deviation, but other than that, we only hit the 3rd. I don't even feel like drawing that out, to be honest. And a big reason why we don't go lower is because, you know, this consolidation, this is kind of where the liquidity ends. But I guess we do wick lower, get these orders. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's not much else past this. At this point, you know, market just been consolidating. So, yeah. Super interesting, right? What if there's any inverse for value gaps? Thoughts on trading through liquidity, high time frame highs, lows, and just full putting it when price is near it? So here's the thing, like, I've thought about that so much, right? Because, you know, it should work, right? There's, like, you just sit there and think, yeah, man, like, I could easily, like, double my money if I just full port it. But the real issue, right, is that works, and it works until you're wrong. And then when you're wrong and you full ported your entire account, well, then you're screwed, right? So it works until it doesn't. It sounds like a great idea. Obviously, you know, it's going to work sometimes. But then what happens when it doesn't work? Well, then you just lost your entire account. And so you come to the realization you kind of have to have, you know, some form of risk management. You have to have a stop loss somewhere. And it's like, well, that just means I'm just going to end up being a trader. So, yeah, I just recommend having a stop loss. I mean, it's like, you know, kind of annoying because then, you know, you get stopped out, but over time you realize that stop loss is actually your best friend. So it's kind of annoying though, because it feels like it's not, but that just means you need to get more precise with your entry, really. Yeah, I feel like we covered so much. There is a 1 hour gap here. You know, this wasn't premium. Let's see if there was 5 minute. You're 100% right. I did have trades or price pulled back too much and you don't really know when to get out. Yeah, it's just, it works until it doesn't. It sounds great until you lose everything. And then it's like, oh, well, was it really worth it? So, dang, man. So this ended up working out. This 1 hour for value gap and premium of this displacement leg. This ended up delivering price lower, right? And we hit that 4th standard deviation. So you would have to enter on the close on this one. Otherwise, I don't think you'd get filled. And then, right, treat this section of price action as a liquidity void because the fact that high time frame highs and lows generally get swept and then swept again, so it's risky. Yeah, it's like it will work sometimes, but then when it doesn't work, you're screwed. And then it's like, oh, it wasn't really worth it. So point is, we hit the 4th standard deviation perfectly. Would I have taken this one? I'm not gonna lie, probably not. I just don't know if I love it. But you know what? We're gonna record it down, right? Down to the 4th. I kind of want to look at more inverse for value gaps. And maybe more 2022 models. I should probably make this market recap soon, though. It's taking a fat minute. Okay, down to the 4th. I'm not even gonna mark it up at all. I'm just gonna put 1240 flow state retest. Every single time we mark one of these up, though, it adds one to our mental repetitions. So, yeah, let's see if we had any inverse for value gaps. Right, this is kind of an inverse for value gap. Maybe you'd end up taking that. I don't know. Using these two fair value gaps as one. Not something I'd really think about taking normally, but maybe. And then treat this as a void, not a fair value gap. Short. Probably gonna stop here. TP. Why? Everyone's asking me how old I am. How old do you think I am? Guess. Do I look young or old? Once you guess, I'll tell you. $20? 23. Close. I just turned 23. Well, actually, now it's been kind of a while. Yeah. Snowman, was that a guess or did you know? Yeah, I've been 23 now, actually, almost over a month. That's crazy. That's a long. Can't believe I've been so locked in, man. I didn't even realize I've been 23 for almost a month. This is today, exactly today marks my 2 years exactly trading, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I have nothing else going on. I'm just going to keep backtesting. Right, you could go break even anywhere within this section of price action, but yeah. Oh, one more thing I want to add into here is that this is that's funny. Yeah, that's pretty funny. How old are you guys? Yeah, this is clean. Okay, 5-minute inverse value gap. Let's look at some more inverse value gaps. I feel like I don't give inverse value gaps enough love sometimes. But I really should film the market recap. Dude, I don't know. I'm just enjoying myself. It's just chill. It's just chill. I'm not doing anything tonight. I'm just going to keep going. $12.35. Yeah, this was so clean, man. That 3-minute inversion is like, genuinely so beautiful. We have, this displacement leg. So maybe within this, I was gonna say maybe there's a fair value gap like around equilibrium. There's kind of, what is that? A volume imbalance? Dude, volume imbalances are better than fair value gaps. I'm not even capping, dude. Like genuinely, like the more you stay in the market, the more you realize, wow, volume imbalances are just way better than fair value gaps. Well, they're more sensitive. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna tell him. Rainier's linear aesthetics is my mom. She's not 29. Nice try. 5-minute gap. There's got to be a gap here. Okay, well, there was a volume imbalance. Where'd it go? So here's a volume imbalance. Volume imbalance perfectly hit. Only thing is, what are you going to align with the 2-minute? But we do sweep out this low. So sweep of this low. Break of this high. So this is a super tiny volume balance. 2-minute. Is it like, it's on the 3-minute? Is it on the 5-minute? See, on the 5-minute it goes away. So it's a 3-minute max. What about the 4-minute? Yeah, the 4-minute it goes away. 3-minute is the highest it's on. What would you guys align with the 3-minute? So what do we do normally? 5-minute aligns with 30-second. This 3-minute probably aligns with like 15-second. 3-minute, 15-second. Let's see if that actually works. It actually kind of does. Yeah, wait. This kind of works, guys. 3-minute volume imbalance. This is kind of cool. I'm glad I spotted this. And we have that data high, right? So we sweep out the low. So sweep the data low. So it's almost like a dodgy one setup for life, right? So 3-minute volume balance. So I'm aligning the 3-minute with the 15-second. So then once we get this 15-second change state delivery, I would just enter it on the close. So I would definitely align the 3-minute with the 15-second. I see nothing wrong with that, to be honest. So what is this? Low time frame, accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. So accumulation. So cool. So cool. 30-second change state delivery, right? You could enter on the retest too, right? If you ended up taking a retest, you would have to enter on the wick. Yeah, same really for the most part. But I just like observing. I like observing. But yeah, 3-minute volume imbalance, 15-second change state delivery. So if I entered on the close, which I probably would, right? I'd go like that. Probably stop loss at that wick because it's good momentum. So we should drive to the data high, and that would be 2-to-1. That would be nice. Yeah, I think that's pretty clean. You could also, what's worth noting, you could also enter, if you missed it, you could enter on the retest of the wick, right? If you tried to enter on the retest of the body, you would not get filled. I'm curious if we go, wait, let's actually measure this out. We almost go to the second standard deviation, but we don't. Flow state close, 3-minute, 15-second. What time is this at? 8:36, flow state close, 3-minute, 15-second. Kind of cool. So, I mean, yeah, you could also consider this 2022 a little bit. I would consider this a 2022 model because, right, we manipulate the data low, and then we have displacement. We break above this high. So this is why I say it doesn't need to be necessarily at equilibrium, because I've seen the 2022 model work out plenty of times when we have good displacement, and even when it's not at equilibrium, it'll still work. So that was one thing that always confused me for the longest time, is does the 2022 model have to be at equilibrium? And to be honest, I don't think so, personally, because you can see in this example, right, this fair value gap ends up holding even though we're not at equilibrium. So I personally think, can be a lot of the time more precise when it's at equilibrium, but I don't think it has to be. I'm just gonna make sure it's not actually at equilibrium. Yeah, you can see it's in premium of the displacement. 2022 fair value gap in premium of the displacement and still held. Oh, I need to put the position tool. Bang. It's also a breaker block and for value gap. I don't really take those though because, I mean, I have flow state and every single change state delivery is, you know, as long as it's like valid, it's gonna be the same place the breaker would be. So this is a 30-second 837 30-second 2022 wait 837 2022 model 30-second. Okay, so I really do think that I don't think that when you have a 2022 gap, I don't think it has to be in discount of the displacement leg. I think you can still take it. It's just it can be a little bit more precise when it is in equilibrium. I don't think it has to be. That one is 1-to-1 RR. Yeah, not the best. 1.6. This is kind of an inverse for value gap down here, right? Is it? Would you guys consider that an inverse for value gap down there? I mean, if you use these two bodies together as one, then kind of. Like if you use these two as one. So we can mark this out here. Like this, I mean, this genuinely looks decent. Like if you objectively you don't know what let's say you don't know what happens after 836 on the 32nd, objectively. Just looking at that signature, objectively that looks pretty good. I think it's worth putting in the notes. And that would actually hit 2.7. That's crazy. Okay, I feel like we have so much information to work with for the market. I'm not gonna be able to go over everything. Okay, how many people are watching now? If there's less people, I'm making it. No way there's 9. That's gotta be wrong. How is there 9 of you watching still? I don't get it. How? No one's talking. No, obviously you go. I forgot to mark out. You go break even, obviously, here. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but personally I would, because, yeah, I don't know. Personally I would. I just like it like that. But I guess maybe you don't need to. I guess break even is definitely a personal preference thing. IPG, 30-second. And then anything in here, nothing is obvious. We're obviously accumulating. Guys, I think I've just about covered this whole entire day, front to back. Feels like. Yeah, I mean, there's just always opportunity. I'm curious, there's got to be some reason we respond here. I'm so curious as to why we do, because I think, this is just a little too precise. It's suspicious to me. I feel like it's got to be a higher time frame level. $15-minute change day delivery, I guess. I don't know what it is, to be honest. Zoom out. Was there an RTH gap? Yo! Oh, this is interesting, Snowman. I don't know if you're still watching, but we left a giant RTH gap above. But we still have this one below. So that tells me two things. We're both going to go down here and up here probably eventually. So my guess is we're going to probably start to partially fill it and leave it unfilled, go fill this guy, and then go fill this one. I don't know. That's just a guess. But that RTH gap down there, I think that's our key. I think that's where the market's drawing this RTH opening here. Then again, I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of them. Yeah, there's a lot down here that haven't been filled. There's a lot down here that haven't been filled, actually. So we will come back and fill these probably. I actually don't know that. Because technically, there's a whole bunch from way, way down here that never got filled. So I guess you don't have to come back and fill them, but usually you do, right? Usually you see how this one gets filled right here. Usually these overnight gaps end up getting filled. They're just excellent draws on liquidity, but they're not always filled. I'd probably say it's 85% chance they get filled eventually. So what does that tell me? We're probably going to come back and fill these way later at some point. I don't know when. But it does it would make sense though, because what is this? This looks like generated liquidity. I'm not even going to lie. This is so generated. We're so going to take these out at some point. Almost 100% chance. I actually almost guarantee it. We're going to go take these out. I just don't know when. Same when we had all these lows here, I was saying the same exact thing. I was like, we are 100% going to take these out. I don't know when, but we are. And then boom, we do, right? So obviously we don't need to go there. Once again, look how long it took for us before we went down to those. It was all the way up here, and then we went and took them out. But we're going to take these out. Man, we've reviewed the market for okay. Moment of truth. How many people are watching? If it's less than, no way. It can't still be 9. People must just leave it still going in the background. Oh, I think I'm going to end the stream. I think I got to film this market recap. I don't know how long I've been going. 16 people watching. Yo, 16 people watch. Okay, I guess I can't end the stream. 16 people. You guys must just be leaving this on in the background or something. 16 people watching. Okay, I guess I'm not ending the stream. I was going to make the market recap, but 16 is just... Yeah, we're going to keep going, I guess. It is just interesting, though, to just talk about the market and just observe. That's what I'm thinking, watching too, 50% retrace, but I don't know how it's going to happen. Yeah, I think we'll probably come down to this RTH gap. But past that, that's all we're going to get to. How do you identify bias? I frame a model on the higher time frame and then make a lower time frame model within that. Because at the end of the day, it's all just models within models of, key levels and change state delivery. So I just gotta side myself in with a higher time frame model, and then take a lower time frame model within that. Hopefully that makes sense. But if you're trading in the same direction as that higher time frame model, then it's already, odds are in your favor. Like for instance, frame this down here as we have a weekly for value gap, right? Where's our displacement leg? What's the most obvious displacement leg? Probably, in my opinion, from, well, let's see. Actually, this is a bad example because we're not. But from here to here, weekly for value gap and discount, right? So what does that mean? Well, we're going to look for a line time frame, 4 hour, right? You get a 4 hour change state delivery. It's kind of not exactly super clear, but I guess right here. So then all through here, I'm anticipating this as a weekly 4 hour model. I think this is a bad example because it's not super obvious. But, we hit that second standard deviation. So all through here, I'm framing lower time frame buy models. So hopefully that makes sense. What's my typical RR? It's never all or nothing for me, so I'm constantly scaling out. So it's never usually fixed. It's like I'll take one off at 1R, one off at 2R, one off at 3R, one off at 4R, something like that. And I'll just buy, I'll have 4 cons. Usually that's kind of what I do because I really don't see the market as all or nothing. And then I'll usually trail my stop. But depends. Like if it's just a simple trade, like an inverse for value gap to go target really good liquidity, I might just go for just a solid 2R with only 1 take profit. It really just depends. There's a lot of people watching. Was there actually 16? Is there still 16? Crazy. I should probably film the market recap. What? Yeah, it's literally Friday night, guys. Why are you guys all watching me? 14. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. What should I do now, guys? Should I film the market recap? Is there anything else you want me to look at? What do you guys think? How long you been doing this? What do you mean, trading in general or this live stream? I kind of want to look at an example. Oh, trading in general. This is exactly 2 years. Today marks the actual 2-year mark. It's actually kind of crazy now that we mention it. Yo, I got 4 more subs. That's crazy. Thank you guys. I'm from Idaho. I want to look at an example of a propulsion block because I actually really do like propulsion blocks a lot. See if we can find one. There's probably a pretty good one within here somewhere. Would you consider this propulsion block? Boom, boom. I don't know. I want an obvious one. I don't know. I like backtesting these propulsion blocks. Something about them. Like this right here. Well, I guess that's not really that obvious either. I was going to say like, here and then here. Maybe we could look at a higher time frame one. Okay, this is one right here. I believe this is one, right? Yeah, sounds good, Snowman. Appreciate you, bro. I should probably just end this. I don't know how there's so many people watching. This isn't a good example of a propulsion block. Yeah, I should just film the market recap. Or maybe I'll film it tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to film it tomorrow. I'm too tired. I don't want it. I want to make it, not suck. OB, propulsion block. Yeah, I don't know. It's not that obvious. Okay, anyway. I mean, propulsion blocks, when they work, they're super nice. It's just, I don't know. For me, it can be hard to find them sometimes. I might be done. Guys, I might be done. I think I've been going for way too long here. It's been real. It's been fun, but I think I might head out. I'm getting tired. Final last check. How many people are watching? 14. That's crazy. Thank you guys so much, man. I'll see you guys whenever I, make the next video or whenever I live stream next. Peace out, everyone.